When it comes to the big track swing so far in the Octane Series that we've had for the past 3 weeks, while it might not be the first word that comes to mind, comfort might have described both Michigan and the Pocono Raceway. It's not always the luck of the draw. Chaos, while it might be there, is not the defining factor. Well, tonight, things are going to change. It looks like for the first time since February, we're at the World Center of Racing, and Daytona will once again come alive with the sounds of next gens as the Tube Tech 200 brings us back for the 20th round of the season. Qualifying going to get underway right now with Nicholas Ward taking us to the green flag, 20 rounds in out of our 30 race season, and just before the playoffs get underway, let's throw a bit of unpredictability in there before things get settled in for certain. Great to have you all once again on the Fireball Talks NASCAR YouTube channel. As always, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Next gens at Daytona always bring out great racing. We've got a field, as always, very stable with competitive drivers, and they're all here looking to put on a great show. As it stands, Chad Winstead, making his first race of the season here in the Octane Series, is the fastest man in qualifying by over a tenth and a half. Winstead was the fastest man in practice too, and you might know well on FTN for being on the Thursday night broadcasts in the Highline Racing League. Well, for the first time, he's here on Tuesday nights as well, and he's looking to get a victory here to add to his already impressive collection of runs on this YouTube channel. Going to be pole position by 19 thousandths of a second for now, with Nick Tarbuck in second and Jacob Fife just a few thousandths behind, currently scored in third. Going to be Boomer Logan, who's going to be coming down for his first lap right now, the number 94 machine, looking to put himself on the board too. Only 10 drivers have taken time so far out of what appears to be a total of 24 registered. So still, many big names are looking to get their time in, namely drivers like Alan Dobbs, Guillermo Alvarez, John Steele, of course Brad Patton there on the frame as well, and just like that, it's going to be Boomer Logan on his way, making it 10th position for the number 94. Ross Cato going to be in the mix as well, number 12 machine going to be coming down to the stripe, and for Ross, that's going to be from the 12th position up into 4th. Very nice run there with 48 seconds remaining, but qualifying already coming down to more or less a standstill. Most drivers are off the track right now, only 12 opting to take a time and 13 others choosing not to come out on the track. So qualifying already all but concluded. It looks like the pole position provisionally stands in nobody else's way but Chad Winstead. Winstead currently has that provisional pole, and as qualifying comes to a close, we'll see whether or not he's able to make that official. And an empty Daytona International Speedway. We're looking above here on the aerial shot, courtesy of TrackCams22.com. An incredible angle here, which shows you the grand scale of this circuit. 2.5 miles, speeds of over 150 miles an hour at the very minimum. Drivers touching 195 to 200, and it's always exciting at Daytona from start to finish. Qualifying is officially concluded this time by, so without further ado, why not get to what's in store? The starting grid for the Tube Tech 200 going to be shown on your screen now, and it looks like it's going to be Cody Smith making his way up, and the number 18 machine goes from outside the top 5 to very deep in. Smith going to be able to jump up to the first spot with a 49.597, and he'll be just in front of Seth Noel, 100th of a second behind. Well, going to be there in the number 9 machine with a 49.607, putting him second on the board. And then from there, going to be Alan Dobbs in position number 3 with a 49.620 and 9 thousandths of a second behind Ross Cato, who's been on a multi-race podium streak, looking to go for one again tonight. Cato going to be there in 4th with a 49.629, 5 1,000ths ahead of your 5th place starter, Chad Winstead, in his very first race of the season. Then from there, you're going to see Jacob Fife to the number 36, 6th spot on the board with a 49.636, and it'll be Nick Tarbuck in position number 7 with a 49.653, just ahead of Nicholas Ward in 8th, and his 49.661 going to be just in front of the final drivers inside the top 10, being Kyle Cooper 9th and Tom Wetmore rounding out the top 10 in the TubeTech Chevrolet. Then you'll see 11th place going to be held by Boomer Logan, and Logan going to be there with a 49.806. The final driver to take a time, Sam Nito, with a 49.812 to round out the top dozen. Then from there, Guillermo Alvarez, 13th position, Trevor Trago going to be 14th, and Jay Aishman rounding out the top 15 inside of row number 8. Caitlin Haight going to be there in the 16th spot, locking down the minimum participation record required to be inside the playoffs. Ryan Farrell is 17th, and Brad Patton's 18th, with Jorge Canales in number 84 being position number 19, and Mike Mannix rounding at the top 20 in that number 30. Then from there, you're going to see Victor Avila Felix in 21st and Alan Rawell in 22nd. Randy Fiash going to be scored in position number 23, and Luis Caballero in the number 91 returns in the 24th spot. To round out the 13-row field, Sean Steele will be riding shotgun to the number 22 to close out your starting grid for the TubeTech 200, round 20 of the Integrity Octane Series season. Now we got a bit of time before things get going here on FTN, and we've got a special sponsor for tonight's race. So we're going to bring in our main man from TubeTech, driving the number 51 Chevrolet tonight, Tom Wetmore, sponsoring. It's the TubeTech 200, a big race here at the World Center of Racing. We'd love to learn a bit more about TubeTech going into tonight's race. What can you tell us about our main sponsor here at Daytona?
Yeah, appreciate you bringing us down, Dave. TubeTech LLC, gosh, man, I tell you, they've been nothing but a great partner to the Roadhouse Esports team here for better part of the past 2 years, and excited to see him come on board the Integrity Racing TubeTech 200 tonight. If you guys are looking for any sort of metal fabrication needs, whether it be laser cutting, tube bending, tube formation of any kind, I encourage you guys to look up TubeTech LLC. While they're headquartered in Indiana here in the Midwest, it's simply a hub servicing anywhere in North America, as well as sometimes internationally. So encourage you guys to reach out their way, and appreciate their support, not just for the race tonight, but again, for their entire support of this Roadhouse Esports program.
And they've been a great supporter of yours all season long. Of course, we've seen that TubeTech Chevy Camaro win races, always competitive, and they're once again going to be on the side of your equipment here tonight. Of course, representing the title sponsor, what will it mean to get this win here in Daytona?
Gosh, it would mean everything. I know there's some guys out here vying for some playoff spots. I think of some folks that are just behind the cut line as we come into the playoff race tonight, but to win here tonight for TubeTech and the guys over there born in the USA with over 35 years of tube and metal forming experience, I can only hope we can put one here, but gosh, there's a lot of guys that are gunning for a playoff spot that don't care as much as I do about winning a title sponsor race.
Of course, a lot of drivers looking on. The playoffs coming up very soon. They're racing for different reasons here. You are in a bit more of a comfortable position. So what's it going to take to finish off this regular season strong and keep that momentum headed?
Yeah, we've been super fortunate this season, Dave, putting up the most wins of anybody this season, and it's thanks to the precision that you get with things like Bodor lasers and some of the brands that TubeTech supports. That precision has allowed us to nail the strategy correctly, and with the protection of the boys with Robin Steele Attorneys at Law, we've been able to do just about, get strategy right the most times, and it's put us in victory lane a few times. Hoping to get one more tonight, get a few more playoff points, that way we can secure ourselves into the next round and stress out a little bit less.
And this season, it's been all about nailing that strategy to find victory lane more than anyone else. Tom Wetmore, TubeTech 200, big race for your camp. Got to thank you for your time. Any thoughts to wrap this off?
No, just got to thank everybody. Again, all the partners here, but got to thank TubeTech putting this race on tonight. I know they're currently watching, traveling in a hotel room. These guys, this team travels the United States, actually, servicing machines all nationwide. I'd have to check to see where they're at tonight, but the one-on-one's emergency service, sometimes it's what these guys provide, and excited they'll get to watch us tonight from a hotel room in a in a place far away from the state of Indiana where I'm at.
Well, there we have it. Tom Wetmore representing TubeTech tonight in the TubeTech 200. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dave. Hopefully I get to talk to you at the end of this one.
Absolutely. Wetmore going to be on his way, the number 51, carrying the colors of Tube Tech here. And for all the Tube Tech employees watching tonight, stick around. It's going to be a good one. Daytona never disappoints, and we've got a great group of drivers looking to put on an even better show. The starting grid already in formation right now. The iRacing official pace car going to get on its way, and now it's time to hear the engines roar off pit road. And as every driver comes off pit road, now hitting the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway, NASCAR's biggest staple race, the fastest track in America. It was at one point, reaching speeds at a time of over 220 miles an hour in the real world. In the virtual realm, you can still do that, but these next gens are not necessarily as quick. They make up with it for having incredible durability, reliability, and they get into packs very, very well. You're going to see a lot of pack racing tonight over the 31 degrees of banking seen in the corners. It's allowing these drivers to go at full throttle almost all the time. So everyone's going to be on pace, and it looks like everyone has a chance to come home a winner. Track position doesn't mean a big deal, but for Cody Smith and the Next Level Racing team, they're looking to keep it up in front, starting up in the front. Nancy Wetmore in the chat room, thank you for stopping by. Great to have you here. And that reminds us, just to make sure the top 5 ticker is working tonight, it will be scrolling just so every driver gets the representation on the board. Cody Smith, though, he's representing Next Level Racing, a premier partner of the Integrity Racing League, and he takes that Chevy Camaro up to the top spot on the running order. Seth Well still looking to get back in the victory lane. He's had some troubles as of recent trying to break through at one of NASCAR's most chaotic tracks. It's not a comfort zone here at Daytona, but it won't mean it is bad racing. Welcome back to the thrill in Southern Florida. Daytona Beach comes alive for the Tube Tech 200. Green flag from the World Center of Racing. Coming down to the strike this time through, it's going to be Seth Wells, still the top man on the order. The high side is a bit more momentum that time around, giving Seth the opportunity to lead the first lap of the day. 80 laps, same distance as it was in the Integrity Ignite Series just a week ago. Travis McQuistion came home as the winner that time around. However, those were the Xfinity cars and not these next gens. They drive different. It might be mostly the same. High speeds, high attrition. You want to avoid any wrecks, but these guys are going at speeds of 198 miles an hour down the backstretch, and that's with minor letting up back and forth just to make sure the pack keeps itself in check. These guys are almost going an unrestricted 200 miles an hour, and that's not even pushing it. Double file racing so far. The front row remains the same, and they're going to keep it that way now heading into lap 3. A few new things on display tonight before I leave for Watkins Glen. The bottom ticker on your screen now scrolls. It's got updated information. We can change it in real time, and now it has the ability to scroll all throughout the night. So that should be a much better touch for the viewing experience there. Much more information, much better look, and slightly minimized design courtesy of our friend Andrew Schulte in our overlay department. So we hope you all enjoy that feature. In addition, we've got a few new drivers in the system, one of which is Chad Winstead. Now that's of course not necessarily related to the broadcast itself, but another rookie driver, and so far this season, doesn't matter if it's at a track like Daytona, a track like the Magic Mile at New Hampshire, Pocono, Talladega, what have you. We've had many drivers drivers come in mid-season. I think Chad Winstead's one of the only drivers we have a background on coming into this season. He's one to keep an eye out for. That Valvoline number 34 tears it up on Thursday nights, a very consistent competitor in Highline Racing League, and now he puts himself in the integrity equation, and he looked very quick in both practice and qualifying, holding on in the 6th position right now. It's going to be the Valvoline Motor Oil Ford Mustang. They're in 6th, holding on to the inside line as Cody Smith loses some momentum. Ross Cato is pushing Seth Well deep, and it's now going to be Seth with the lead. Ross Cato going to be pushing hard, and Jacob Fife drops down to the bottom side. He'll take Wetmore with him, and just like that, the Tube Check Chevrolet making moves for the win. And some early aggressive driving so far. You're going to see Wetmore there with Jacob Fife. And just like that, it's going to be the high side losing a bit more momentum. Ross Cato going to end up losing time, dropping down a few positions. And Cody Smith now going to be able to take advantage as the inside line now has the supreme toe. And it's going to be much quicker down the stretch. It looks like for Seth Well going at a speed of 200 miles an hour as they rush by the cameras there. 200 compared to the average of about 196. For Ross Cato. That might not seem like a big deal, but when you're pulling away on a straightaway, the longest straightaway on the track, it is everything. The low line now seems to be a bit more empty. And Jacob Fife brings Tom Wetmore back down. They're both trying to manage the inside and outside at once, which is a tricky task for any driver, and it looks like Cody Smith caught a bit too much of the draft to make that sustainable any longer. Seth Well going to drop down to the low side yet again. Looks like about a 9-car breakaway. Then you'll go back to Kyle Cooper there, who's going to be splitting the first and second packs all through the backstretch. They look very close, but look further. It's going to be much different coming out of the straightaway. The second pack has a bit of a separation. Then there is a third pack brewing in the back. Single file drivers from Boomer Logan and Trevor Trago onwards. So there's drivers right now who are not pushing it at all, waiting for things to get to the end before they get aggressive. And that's a bright thing to do. We saw last time we went racing in the Ignite Series at Daytona. You just had to make it for the end if you wanted a chance to win. Many drivers just weren't able to do that. However, now it looks like they're all in line at the back, waiting for the end of the race. The front runners are not too aggressive either. It's Tom Wetmore pushing Jacob Fife. Fife has the lead. Wetmore's going to get a shove from Seth Well too, and the outside line getting a similar shove as well. Just like that, both groups are in play, and they're all competitive as they come down to the stripe yet again. Jacob Fife with the advantage. Seth Well now going to go up high. He's trying to take it for his own right, and as they come to the line yet again, Fife has the edge, but Seth Wells getting close. And now up to lap 8, 3 wide, going to be seen for the first time there. It looks like Chad Winstead got caught up in it in the middle. He drops down to the bottom very quickly, so no harm, no foul. It looks like right now 3 wide's going to be a no-go. Every driver wants to make it to the end of this race. Why jeopardize that early? Logging laps is the big theme right now, and it looks like it's going to stay that way until at least the halfway marker. You do not want to wreck your equipment right here, right now, because in this league, no fast repairs. It's a one and done. If you have any substantial damage, you're going to be on pit road for quite a while if you even have a chance at all. Sometimes iRacing will tell you, too much damage, you're done. You don't want to hit that. Once you hit that, that is the point of no return. And it looks like Jacob Fife will not be returning to the front of the pack, at least for now. He'll get shuffled into the middle of the groove 3 wide, and he'll have to either get behind Sam Nito or get behind Kyle Cooper. He makes it a 3 wide once again, and it looks like Sam going to be caught up high as the number 40 machine right there in the frame appears to be Mike Maddox. Maddox with a new look tonight, and it looks like with Alan Rollo in the back of the field, one of the many drivers going single file, it goes back all the way to John Steele, and the number 22 machine of John Steele is going to be the final driver currently on the track. Ryan Farrell, it looks like, going to be making his way through right now as he comes to the stripe. Inside line is not as developed, and they're going to have to keep on working as the day goes on. Tom Wetmore's got the advantage 10 laps in. Seth Well going to be there in second with Cody Smith now in third. It's Alan Dobbs fourth and Chad Winstead fifth as Sam Nito and Jacob Fife now take it side by side. Ross Cato's going to be there too, and he's got Brad Patton up top. Patton, as he generally does, runs the high side right now, trying to make an advantage of it. now drivers are free to experiment with their lines early in the going. It isn't as high pressure as it would be with 10 laps to go. Of course, right now only 10 laps in, so you can try to choose to use that high line, see how it works out for you. There's more momentum up there on the top side. You get a bit more run off the banking, and as a result, you're a bit quicker down the straightaways, but you cover a bit more distance, which is slower overall through the corners. That's why guys like Jacob Fife and Ross Cato opt to go down to the bottom side of the track. They've got the side draft right now, so they are not going to be all out of touch. In addition, less distance through the corners. The only real problem for them is their outside line is compromised down the straightaways, so they're losing a bit more speed, burning it off. They have to go from the absolute bottom side to cutting it a bit quickly to a straight line. Seth Well going to make it through yet again. He's going to find himself up to the lead. It's going to be 11 laps in. The number 9 machine right down low. Tom Wetmore stays high, and Wetmore at the stripe has a minor advantage. Wetmore finds himself to the point yet again. Seth Well, though, able to charge ahead of Jacob Fife, and just like that, Seth's going to put himself in the Coca-Cola Ultimate number 9 at the top of the running order. 12 laps in out of 80. We're just weeks away from seeing Daytona return to the real-life stage, and I'll tell you this much, it's most likely not going to be as calm as this. Luckily for all these drivers, this is not the true cutoff race for the regular season and the playoffs. If it was, I'm sure we'd see a little more risky driving, especially from those drivers outside of the top 10. However, for now, that's not the case. Running double file, it might not look like logging laps in the traditional fashion, but I'm telling you, these guys are not pushing it 100%, at least for the moment. And there's a good reason. Equipment, it matters. If you don't have the good stuff at the end of the race, you're all but done for. One thing we have to mention, though, it's not just damage that's going to matter on pit road. It's going to be tires and fuel. 13 laps in that we've gone green so far, and odds are, the way things are going, we're going to see at least one green flag pit cycle on the day. When that is, not quite sure. Estimates are saying that the pit run should be about 25 to 30 laps a stint, which would break it up in about a 2 to 3 stint block for all these drivers if they go on that strategy from the start. So with that in mind, it's going to be a bit of a wiggle for Seth Well. That's going to send Alan Dobbs down low. Bit of a shake-up here as they're 3 wide at the line for second. Wetmore still leads. Seth Well now going to be funneled out just a bit. We'll see whether or not he's going to be able to regain his footing in the top 10. It looks like for now, he would have to get lucky, and it's not going to happen. Chad Winstead slams the door, keeps it 3 wide. It looks like Winstead might actually be on the short end of this one, as it looks like Seth Well has just enough momentum to keep on going and make it 3 wide yet again. Just like that, Seth is beating and banging here. And he's got Sam Nito and Nick Tarbuck right ahead. Looks like now Noel is going to concede, let them all go ahead, and the number 9 gets back in line, fittingly in the 9th position. Now going to fade back to 10th as Ryan Farrell and Kyle Cooper both get a big run. Taking it now down to lap 15 of 80. The inside line has not been controlling at all. Tom Wetmore and the outside groove have been on fire so far. Looks like at the moment just not has been the night for those drivers working down low. Cody Smith, one of the drivers who's been able to get it up into the top side, and it looks like for now he's been able to keep it there consistently. No threats from the low line. It's been a very well-organized run on the top, and from there, it looks like only Seth Well gonna dare to go down low and try to take a few positions. He's clearly ahead of Jacob Fife, trying to bring them all back together. Now he's gonna lose that time and end up back with Jacob, and Ross Cato gonna try to split him. Looks like it's not gonna work out at all. Seth Well is not going to be allowed to lead that low side. Every driver in unison decides to go right around, and instead, Seth will drop once more back to the bottom. Tom Wetmore going to lead the way, 16 laps throughout of 80. Last time we were at Daytona for the Octane Series, I wasn't here. I was broadcasting, yes, that's true, and off this very computer, but I was over 1,500 miles away from my setup in Houston, Texas. Wasn't able to get a really good look at the race, and it looks a lot of similar racing characteristics right now, but the big difference is the field size. Only 25 drivers took the green flag tonight. as opposed to over 30 last time we went racing here at the World Center of Racing. As a result, the best of the best are those that remain on the track, and they've kept it much cleaner. So we have not worried so far about the drivers in the back of the pack as much as they're the drivers who would have been in the middle of the field the first time we went around here in February. It's mostly the same, as John Steele's going to get very loose, and it looks like we might have reason for concern. Thankfully, all stays the same. John Steele keeps on going, and it's going to be Alan Rawell and Caitlin Haid right there too. The Honda Accord number 11 machine going to be piloted here with a Red Bull livery, which is a throwback to the 1960s Honda livery used when Honda entered the sport in, I believe, 1966. Red Bull ran this throwback about 2 years ago. It's a timeless one, that's for certain, and right now looks good even on a stock car. And you can see now there's definitely a second pack. It's a big separation. And it's going to be a total of just about 2 seconds separating Victor Avila-Felix and Luis Caballero. So both of these drivers are very far apart. And it looks like now Ross Cato will be the final man, as Caballero is indeed up there with the leaders. So 21st on back in trouble. Otherwise, you're still with the main pack. Still have the big draft, and you're going at speeds of over 195 miles an hour consistently down the straightaways. Take a look at that number 40 machine. That's going to be Ryan Farrell. Mike Maddox right with them too, and it looks like it's going to be a new set of drivers up in front. Huge run for the inside line, and this is the one they were waiting for. Seth Noel finally gets his opportunity, leads them through. Jacob Fife going to be there in second, and Ryan Farrell there in third. As you see, Mike Maddox got around. Kyle Cooper is going to be fighting inside the top 5, and this is the chance for many drivers who don't often get the opportunity to race up in front to do just that. Wetmore going to try to fake high, and he makes it high. Now it's going to be Seth Well once again shuffled out of line. They are not making life easy for the driver of the number 9 machine. As we say most often when we have super speedway races on FTN, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you know Seth Well, you know this: if he can control a line easily, he will run away with the win. Right now, drivers are prioritizing making sure that the most competitive drivers of them all don't have the chance to really dominate. Seth is going to be sent back to the bottom of the field yet again. Finds himself now just within the confines of the top 10, and it's Wetmore once again leading. He's running a very strong race so far, a quarter of the way through. Jacob Fife going to be working with him as well, and as they come to this quarter waypoint, Tom Wetmore going to be leading the way with Jacob Fife second, Ryan Farrell third, and now Mike Maddox battling for fourth. High side, it's going to be Cody Smith and his number 18, brought to you by Next Level Racing. Your pollster tonight is representing the official partner of the Integrity Racing League, the official series champion of the Octane Series in 2023, will be gifted a sim rig worth $2,000 in value, courtesy of Next Level Racing. For high-quality sim racing performance products that deserve nothing but the best for all sim racers, visit nextlevelracing.com for further information as we bring you your first promotional break of the day, courtesy once again of our friends at Next Level Racing. Caution is out, and now we will show you why. Your first yellow flag in the Tube Tech 200 just came out. Here's an immediate replay. Kyle Cooper involved in this incident. 3 wide with Seth Well there, and Nicholas Ward once again will take it back from a rear view perspective, and you'll see 3 wide. Seth Well going to be crammed trying to go for it. Nicholas Ward slightly comes back down. That's going to involve all 3 drivers with one another and bring them to a standstill. Cooper going to go down through the grass. Nicholas Ward going to be taken with Boomer Logan. And just like that, another hit. Avila Felix contact twice over. Logan going to be able to make it out. Nicholas Ward some damage as well. And the caution flies for the very first time tonight. 22 laps in out of 80. Caution flag going to be out with your leader being Cody Smith. Now pit road going to be occupied as well. Drivers making their moves down and in for the first time. Cody Smith, one of which, let's see what's going on. And as we take a look up in front live on FTN, it's going to be led by Cody Smith and the number 18 machine. Alan Dobbs is going to be down in the second spot as pit road is active. It's going to be a race on pit road right now. Ross Cato, one of the many drivers who's in, and it looks like off of pit road, Jacob Fife going to be then with Tom Wetmore, Mick Tarbuck following by. It's going to be Jay Aishman and Brad Patton. Looking further back, you're going to see drivers furthermore like Chad Winstead and then Seth Well, Ross Cato, Caitlin Haight, and then John Steele with Randy Fiash to round out your top 15. Cody Smith still leads the way. 2 laps to go under pacing, and the number 18 machine finds himself on top of the board yet again. First caution going to come through at the middle of the field there, and as we mentioned, Seth Well gets caught up out of the front. Drivers have been trying to keep that number 9 machine from going up to the top, and it happens once again. That's what gets him up in the middle of the pack, and that involves him, of course, with Nicholas Ward, and it's going to be further contact for guys like Victor Avila Felix, Kyle Cooper, resulting in that chain reaction that brings out the caution. 23 laps in, out of 80, it is going to be Cody Smith in first, Alan Dobbs then in second, Sam Nito third, and then Ryan Farrell in position number 4. 23 laps in, out of 80. Cody Smith, the man who currently leads the way. Not too far behind, you're going to see Alan Dobbs, Sam Nito too, and Ryan Farrell, Mike Maddox as well. Both drivers have been on their way up all night long. Now both going to be inside of the top 5 and looking very good so far as the sun continues to set at Daytona. I think they might be one of the drivers to watch, both of them, as they've been able to use some very, very well put together strategy to come through with 24 laps on the board as drivers that round out the top 5. Double file this time by yet again. Lap 25, we go green, and it is going to be your first restart of the day. Cody Smith down low, Alan Dobbs up high, and Sam Nito going to be just behind in third. Then you'll see Ryan Farrell goes up top, going to be Mike Maddox down low, and it's going to be once more Alan Rowell inside the top 10. Rowell able to make a big jump up into 6th. Very good job on pit road for the 43. One of the chances he has to come home in victory lane just before the playoffs begin. Wouldn't it be great for the Spam Toyota Camry? It might be the best chance he has, as time already running out in this event. Maybe after the longer green flag run we just had, he can do it again and pick up a few more spots. And so far, looking back, the dominant driver of the day so far has been Tom Wetmore for Tube Tech. That number 51 Chevy Camaro going to be placed back now in 7th with Jacob Fife then in 8th. It's going to be Fife beside Jay Aishman there, and Aishman in the 06 machine going to be one of the drivers who rounds out the top 10. Nick Tarbuck currently scored as the final driver within it, and Chad Winstead going to be just outside in 11th in the Valvoline number 34. Now as they come through yet again, turns 3 and 4. Once again, Cody Smith on top. New driver in 2nd. That's Alan Dobbs, and Sam Nito going to be in 3rd. Coming through This time by the iRacing official pace car going to be coming down and in, and it's going to be led by the next level racing machine once again. First restart of the day from Daytona. The pace car is indeed through. Let's get right back at it from the world center of racing through the Geico restart zone. We're green again in the Tube Tech 200. And just like that, we are on our way here at Daytona once more, 25 laps in out of 80. Going to be, of course, the number 18 of Cody Smith still out in front. He's one of the drivers who came home in victory lane already, and he got it done most recent at Daytona, so he knows what it's like to be a winner at a plate track, and even here at the world center of racing. That experience, it might be an advantage, but drivers like Sam Nito, who have been on hot streaks as of recent, are looking to take it right away. Track position is right now all that Cody Smith has, so if Sam can get there and bring Ryan Farrell and Mike Mannix too, it'll be all for naught. Maybe it's going to be possible to take that lead away momentarily, but so far, very good defense from the back bumper of the Next Level Racing Chevrolet. So far, all remains the same out in front. It's going to be a huge dive up and down low. Ryan Farrell puts the fake high into motion, and in this time around, he goes down to the bottom. Nice move there. Jacob Fife going to try to take it down way low. And just like that, they're battling fiercely, 3 wide just outside the top 5, and it is going to be Jacob Fife barely eking out to stay in the 5th spot. Tom Wetmore going to be in the top, and Ryan Farrell there on the middle of the circuit. Now, Ryan Farrell going to be with Alan Rawell as the low line develops a bit further. The high side reigns supreme, and it looks like 27 laps through, going into 28 next around. It still remains the same race leader. Sam Nito stays with, and Alan Dobbs through the chaos has found himself only losing 1 spot on this run so far, currently going to be there in 3rd. And you can see that second pack still going to be in the distance there, looking further back to drivers like Victor Avila Felix, Randy Fiash, notably also going to be John Steele and Boomer Logan. And this 4-car group not going to be breaking away, but they're going to end up far behind, hoping to save their equipment, banking on another yellow flag. That's going to be the way to go for all 4 of these guys. Boomer Logan has damage. I don't believe Randy Fiash or John Steele do, and it might just be the case as well for Victor Avila Felix, because he was involved in that incident, the first caution of the day. So if anything, half of these drivers are damaged, the rest simply staying back to protect their equipment. Randy Fiash going to try to get a run here in the number 19. It looks like for the Philadelphia Eagles, looking to take flight and get that momentum as Avila decides to go up to the top of the board. Caution flies yet again. Alan Rawell involved, and it's big. Second caution going to be back out on the track. Let's take a brief look at what just happened. And the FTN Instant Replay going to show you the 43 this time involved in the first pack. Now we're looking back up in front, but Rawell going to see some racing just on the top side of him. Jacob Fife, Brad Patton, both drivers there, and it looks like it's going to be some contact. Yep, Nick Tarbuck and Ryan Farrell. That takes Rawell too. Allen comes down. Thankfully does not hit anyone, but that's going to be a big time loss for the number 43. It looks like Nicholas Ward able to get some time back himself, getting back on the track after technical difficulties, and the caution flies yet again with drivers getting out of the incident. Trevor Trago going to be there on the move with some front end damage. Caitlin Haight there as well. It looks like Nick Tarbuck gets caught up in it as well, and that's going to be the number 4 machine involved in this wreck. Nick Tarbuck, one of the big names here contending, who gets involved. And just like that, caution's out for the second time here. Lap 29, coming to lap 30. And now as they come around, Cody Smith, your leading driver, as they go through turns 3 and 4. The iRacing official pace car going to be right there, and it looks like the field already getting bunched up. 29 laps through out of 80 so far. The Tube Tech 200 had a great opening stint, but since then, a few yellows within the past 10 laps have kept us at a bit of a slower racing pace. Hopefully we get back to normal here. We've got a lot of time until all is said and done, but it looks like the driver's coming to a standstill nearly for the second time in the last 10 laps. Cody Smith stays the leader, but most of the field outside the top 10 comes in. Nick Tarbuck going to lead many drivers down. Take a look further back and see how it looks. Right now, pit road going to be especially active. You can see there Cody Smith going to be on his way. One of the many drivers not going in, but the race-off is going to be exciting here. Many drivers coming through for some damage, but otherwise some strategies in play as well. Off the stripe, it's going to be John Steele with the advantage over Randy Fiash and then Caitlin Haight. And just beyond that, it's going to be the 06 of Jay Aishman. Now that's going to be the first wave through. Many other drivers coming in for some long-term damage repair, so we'll see how long it takes for many of these guys. It looks like now another driver on the move. That's going to be, according to timing and scoring, coming off, it's going to be Mike Maddox, and still waiting to be put one lap down. Drivers looking to stretch their time on pit road. 30 laps in, looking to go back green at lap number 32. Cody Smith, the leading driver. Nicholas Ward going to be 3 laps down right now. Only one retiree in the form of Kyle Cooper. Cooper right now going to find himself 8 laps down off of the track and has no intention of returning to the circuit. It looks like his day is done quite early there in the number 73. Caught up with the first caution. That's all she wrote. Nothing more, nothing less. And looking forward to next week to get back on the move. Looks like tonight was not the best effort for that 73 team, looking to rebound with just weeks to go before things get serious in the playoffs. And at the 2/3 marker of the season, you can't afford to have any more bad races as a driver. This is the last one you can really write off, because from here on out, we're going next to Watkins Glen. That's a road course. Takes a lot of finesse, a lot of skill, and drivers mostly have clear advantages and disadvantages coming at a road course. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. And it will show all throughout the day who has it and who doesn't. So tonight, a chance to really level the playing field. If you can't make the most of it, you're going to be in an awful lot of trouble. Cody Smith leads the way as Ryan Farrell gets back off pit road. Boomer Logan 2, Alan Rowell going to be the 3rd man out, and Nick Tarbuck going to be on the way on the backstretch here, with John Steele currently already on the move as well. Just like that, more drivers coming in and out of pit road, trying to extend their strategic advantage. And Alan Dobbs in 3rd. We'll see Tom Wetmore come back up to the high side. Wetmore's looked very good so far in the Tube Tech Chevrolet. In their primary race, the Tube Tech team has looked very good, and the number 51 machine, flagship car for Roadhouse Esports, looking to get it done with many Tube Tech employees watching. And just like that, it looks like he's back in front inside the top 5 yet again. If you'd like to shout out your favorite driver live on FTN, unlimited chat access is available just by subscribing to the channel. Over 1,150 subscribers and counting will give you unlimited chat access for all of our broadcasts. We'd love to have you aboard as a member of the FTN family, so check it out by clicking that subscribe button, which should be on your screen when you open up that YouTube app. Go to the Fireball Talks NASCAR channel page and click subscribe for unlimited chat room access if you want to interact more with your favorite drivers and favorite leagues all throughout the week, live on FTN. We'll be live tomorrow, Wednesday night, with the 4-Row Cup Series. It's the Circuit of the Americas, the Texas Ranger 102.6. River Page going to be on the call there. Thursday night going to be the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing Series. Friday is looking to be the OSRL Short Track Showdown. And Monday night we return with a doubleheader, the 4-Row Trucks and the Integrity Ignite Series. Let's light the fuse again here in the Octane Series though. Second restart of the day, lap 32. Green flags back underway for Cody Smith as we return to the green. And just like that, Cody Smith going to be on his way. It's going to be now high side looking for Ross Cato. Brad Patton's going to take it 3 wide there, and Sam Nito jumps in as well. Big lunge for the number 2. Momentum's all over the place. That was a huge dive in, and it's going to change the look of this race, that's for certain. As they continue to come lap to lap, Ross Cato now has the race lead. What about that move for the number 2, though? Doesn't look like it sticks, and now Chad Winstead's looking for a chance at the race lead as the caution flies yet again. Looks like that's going to be your stage break on the day, and at the line, according to calculations, it could be given to Ross Cato, and it looks like that it will be. Ross Cato still side by side right now, and no, Chad Winstead will get the stage. A little bit of complication there with timing and scoring. The official verdict, your stage winner, Chad Winstead. That's the first stage of the day. The 34 gets it done. Now, from here, we race to the end. And Winstead going to be officially scored as the stage winner in his very first race. Chad's been looking good so far and lunged up there for the bonus points. That's why drivers were rushing up so quickly. And it looks like now we've got an answer. Winstead's the man who comes out with the bonus points, though. That's a great way to start a campaign. So how about we get a word with your stage winner, Chad Winstead. First race this season and already looked to be the man on top of our first and only stage break. How about that for an introduction here in the Octane Series?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think I thought Ross had me at the line there, but I couldn't quite tell. I don't know if the caution came out a little late or what, but anyway, it was a fun little battle there on that last lap.
And certainly very aggressive there. This is going to be the 3rd caution of the day. Only 2 cautions for cause so far. So what's it been like for you joining the field here deep in the season, seeing how all the drivers have progressed and taking it in for yourself?
Yeah, it's hard to run Daytona with no friends, not knowing anybody right now. So I'm a little surprised to be up here in the front, but kind of fell back early on and just did avoid that first wreck. I was on the brakes pretty hard to miss that one. So just trying to stay out of the mess and be there at the end.
And you got to be there at the end for a chance to win. That's for certain. Now, pit road, looking to see whether or not it gets busy this time by. What's the plan for you in regard to strategy?
Definitely going to come down, got to get gas, so just going to top her off enough, and I'm probably going to just take some right side tires and call it a day.
And there we have it, some simple strategy there, and it looks like so far, even without the friends, as you mentioned, you've had a lot of pace, so what's it going to take to keep that pace up? How aggressive have you been? I'd rather rephrase it as, because it looks like so far, a lot of guys logging laps, but a few drivers going a bit further.
Yeah, definitely got to be aggressive here. These guys are moving around a lot, so I think in order to have a chance at the win, just put myself in a similar position that I was right then at that stage break, and just not letting up, shoot the gaps, and not having drafting help. I'm just going to have to push somebody until that last second, and hopefully I'll be in a good spot.
And hoping to be in a good spot. Now, we've seen so far in this race, especially in that long run, the high side had a lot of momentum for the most part in it. Has there been any preferred grooves so far for you? The bottom, the top? What's been really the best place to go?
Yeah, the bottom seems to have the big checkups and kind of stall out a little bit. That top gets the run off the corner a little bit better, it seems like, as long as everybody's in single file. It seems like there's been more cars up there too, which obviously helps. So I think, being in position towards the end there, I would love to be in position on the high line, kind of like we were right there at that stage.
And being in position is the key to victory. And for Chad Winstead in his debut so far, he gets it done. First stage win in his first attempt. Chad, before we get things going, any final thoughts?
No, thank you for the broadcast. It's fun to be in here racing with these guys, trying something different. And, I plan on running the Glen next week. I'm looking forward to that one. And hopefully I'll make a few more races before the season ends. But I appreciate you holding the broadcast. Looking forward to getting or seeing what happens here at the end of this race.
Absolutely a long ways to go, but so far looking very strong. Chad Winstead, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
With Winstead back on the way, we're going to get back to the broadcasting. That was the interview for your stage winner tonight at Daytona. And Winstead, if you haven't seen him race already, he's a road course ace. Definitely a driver to keep an eye out for next week at Watkins Glen. I think he'll be one of the guys very high up in the running order when things get down to Schuyler County in just about a week's time next Tuesday night. Mike Maddox going to be scored as your race leader, but Jacob Fife going to be down low. We got one fan of the chat, 8Kit. Thank you for stopping by. Great to have you aboard yet again. And it looks like right now, 24 drivers of the 25 that registered are still racing. Coming through. This time around, it's going to be Mike Maddox and Jacob Fife, your front row. Then from there, you're going to see Ross Cato. Caitlin Haight is going to be down to the apron here. Not sure what she's doing. Might be trying to get back in formation or save fuel at the same time, but it's going to be Ross Cato and Chad Winstead to second row. Third row now going to be made up of course, that number 11 Red Bull of Caitlin Haight. Sam Nito there too. Top 10 going to be rounded out by Alan Dobbs and Seth Well. Currently, the field is not brought up in terms of being very close to one another, but we still have a bit of time. Green flag expected to fall at lap number 37. We'll see whether or not they push that any further back. It looks like they won't, and the green flag is set to go out this time by for the third restart of the day, starting the second and final stage. And as the field comes through, this time by Jacob Fife, going to be the leading man, the number 30 of Mike Maddox right there up top. Mike Maddox has been a man on the move so far from the back of the field up to the very front row. He just needs one more spot if he wants to come home with the win, but still more than half the race is ahead of us. If you want to do that, you got to continue to be consistently good. Now we're going to get back to it for the second stage of this race. Lap number 37, restart number 3. We're back on the way at Daytona. And just like that, it's going to be a big shuffle to the high side. It looks like many drivers opt to go down low. Mike Maddox is going to be there with Chad Winstead here. And Winstead, as you mentioned, of course, as he mentioned, I'll say, in our interview, he does not have many drivers he knows out here. Not as many drafting partners. And he's going to try to work with these guys here to get some more assistance. That's going to be a big advantage in the later portions of this race. Building trust, getting those friends, that's what's going to get you to the end of this event in one piece. He knows that he's got to keep making those moves and get himself in the right position if he wants any opportunity. Right now, Jacob Fife suffers from none of those issues. Your league owner leads this race, two-time winner of the season already, and he's been very good so far. Consistently a threat up in front, and now looking to go for win number 3. He's gotten his wins at Kansas and New Hampshire respectively, so different types of tracks. He'd love to add a super speedway onto that list for this year, as so far, he leads the way by just about a tenth of a second over Ross Cato. Sam Nito going to be there as well. Caitlin Haight now going to be side by side with Tom Wetmore, and it looks like Wetmore going to stay there up on the high side, the first driver there. Top 4 otherwise are going to be all the way down low. Choosing to stay on the bottom looks to be preferable as we come now to lap number 39. The Tube Tech 200 so far has seen just about 195 miles of racing play out, and Jacob Fife at the end of nearly our halfway point is the leading man. Whether or not he leads at halfway remains to be seen, as Ross Cato is creeping up on him slowly but surely. Sam Nito going to be there too. The second pack going to form yet again. John Steele this time is going to be the leader of it, and it looks like it's going to be a bit of a smaller group. John Steele, Randy Fiash, Alan Rawell, and Ryan Farrell, as Boomer Logan's going to be 23rd, and Nicholas Ward, 2 laps down, is in 24th. Looks like Ward is going to be with the back of the field right now, just trying to maintain the tow, but he's right now not necessarily competing for any position, just hoping to hold on until the race concludes. Ross Cato still going to be there, single file, top 3 drivers, make it about the top 5 all together without much competition. This is logging laps at its most obvious, I should say. Not necessarily at its finest, might not be the most entertaining on the surface level, but this is all part of the strategy for all these drivers. You gotta log laps to make it to the end right now. 40 laps in, you do not want to junk your stuff. Now drivers are realizing we've made it this far. Why would we jeopardize ourselves? Does not make sense. Just keep going. You don't want to mess up your stuff. Your equipment is all that matters at the end of the day. If you've got that clean car, you'll be on the move till the very end. Jacob Fife knows that, and he's very happy to be the race leader right now, but of course, it won't mean too much if he gets past on that final lap. So far, though, not much has changed, and Fife continues his dominance up in front of this run. 40 laps to go this time around. Halfway down, halfway to go. And coming through around yet again, Jacob Fife going to be leading, Ross Cato there second, Sam Nito third. Let's look a bit further back here and see the battles just outside of the top 5. Leading at the moment, it looks like it's going to be, of course, the 36. But looking further back, single file is the way as well. Strategy looks to be defined tonight by longer green flag runs. We did get a few yellow flags, but at the rate we're going, it's almost a certainty we get at least one green flag stop cycle if we just keep it this way. Drivers are seeing the sun is setting, the stadium lights are coming up, and the weather is changing big. So for Jacob Fife right now, that number 36, he knows this. Track conditions are going to change. The way the drivers race is going to change. Their attitudes and their mentalities will be much different by the time this race is over. Manage what you have right now, but I think pit road is going to be the most important. He's the only driver out of every man in this field on the original set of tire. 42 laps in, make it 43 this time by. Jacob is doing it a bit different here, and it looks like it's worked out for him. Has not gone down a pit road once tonight. It's going to be a one-stop strategy for him, presumably the way things are going, as he has not opted to come in at all. Every other driver has. The second longest run is held by Mike Maddox right now. Maddox has been in his set for 13 laps. The rest of the field has only been on theirs for at least 7, but only up to 8. Otherwise, Maddox and Fife are the only 2 outliers right now on strategy. So the way things are going, Jacob would have to come down to pit road. We'll see how much longer he can run the clock out, because he's been on the track over half of this race without even considering coming down to pit road. And that's definitely different from everyone else. He'd have to at least stick it out for about 10 more laps as the leader. If he got to caution before that point, maybe he'll be bailed out, but I just don't know if this is the right move right now. Definitely a big risk. Not quite sure if the reward's going to be big enough to justify it. Ross Cato going to be right there, still in second, and Sam Nito there in third. For Ross Cato, he's been climbing up the podium every race in the past 3 weeks. Third place 3 races ago. Of course, that's actually going to be 2 races ago. My apologies there. It's going to be 2 races ago third. 1 race ago in second, and now he's looking to take that top spot on the board. He's been chasing podiums week after week. How about trying to chase a win? I know he's been doing that 100%, of course. It's much easier said than done, but tonight would be a great time to break through and finally cut the bait. Get it done. Find yourself on top. That will, of course, ease the pressure of being in the playoffs. And with 36 laps to go, Daytona has not been a big wild card so far. Those who most often contend are still up in front. And the big deal is, of course, the playoffs are going to be coming into play very, very soon. Here, it's Daytona, the 20th race of the season. Time is running out in the championship. So as we have a bit of time, how about we show you your current playoff standings coming into tonight's event. As it stands, it's going to be drivers such as Tom Wetmore looking to lock themselves in. You'll see it right now. The drivers in gold have solidified themselves. Otherwise, if they're in green, they're in the bubble or above it. If they're blue, they're on the bubble. If they're red, they are below it. You don't want to be in that red zone right now. Not a good place to be in the slightest. You'll see drivers right now such as Alan Dobbs on it. Ryan Farrell going to be there in the bubble. And this is actually actually not necessarily entirely accurate. Tom Wetmore officially locked himself in with his performance last time we went racing. He got another great run in, and it looks like now, as the wins leader, he's going to be safe to go through to the next round. We'll get that updated graphic after our second Next Level Racing promotional break in just a few laps time, and we'll update you even further with the information at hand. 34 laps to go this time around. The Tube Tech 200 is still on its way, and laps are being logged by every driver in the field. One driver we haven't mentioned all too much tonight is Trevor Trago in the number 37, 11th place right now. He raced in the Ignite Series event at Daytona, looking for a bit of a better result here. Of course, a win would be the big one for the number 37 Chevy Camaro, sponsored by McConey Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR. A big brand with a big reputation on that car, looking to pull it home tonight with his Wanted Goons teammate in Brad Patton just a few positions ahead. Patton in the number 1 machine, going to be there in 6th, and Alan Dobbs is just ahead of him right now to round out the top 5. 33 laps to go. This time around, it's going to be 23 drivers still racing, going back to Nicholas Ward. And just like that, the field rolls on. Single file, they've been all throughout the run. The sky has been shifting. You can see much darker sky at least. And the brightness of the track has changed big time. The stadium lights are on, which ensures that every driver has proper visibility. So no worries as the lights go out in the sky. Now the track lights here will do the job. And 49 laps in, Jacob Fife has been on his run for 49 laps. Unbelievable. It's been something else so far for the 36 machine, a different strategy from the remainder of the field. Most drivers have not pushed their luck with a 25 lap stint. Yet again, Jacob Fife trying something different, let alone 25 laps for most of these guys. It simply has not been a night to risk it on tire for most. Fife gonna try something though. He has victories, he's been consistent, he can afford to do it a bit different here as time continues to run out in the Tube Tech 200. Coming out of lap number 50 on the board, gonna be a total of 31 laps to go, and as the field goes by yet again, we'll bring you to our second Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. NextLevelRacing.com, as always, for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best high quality sim racing performance hardware. Be sure to check out NextLevelRacing.com. Their website, of course, going to be mentioned in this stream. Proud partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Integrity Octane Series. We'll be right back after a brief promotional message from our friends at NextLevelRacing.com. As we come back from our second Next Level Racing promotional break, only 30 laps remain. Time is running out here in Daytona, and we're going to get the updated standings graphic. It appears we used the wrong one just a few minutes ago. Now it should be fully up to date. So take a look at this. Now your new point standings are all ready, and it'll show you Tom Wetmore with the accurate count of 4 wins. Wetmore is going to be one of the only 5 drivers locked in gold right now. Rest of the field behind him is still, of course, inside in the green. Otherwise, they are not locked in. The bubble's still going to be occupied by the same driver, and the battle behind is still as fierce as ever. But so far, Ryan Farrell's still going to be on the chopping block if he has any bad races. That's your official point standings coming into tonight. The playoffs have locked in 5 drivers already. Still, more than 5 looking to claim their spot and lock themselves in. Taking a look at it now, it's going to be a total of 29 laps remaining. Jacob Fife leads the way. Boomer Boomer Logan going to be right in front of him in the number 94, as we are now seeing another lap wind down, make it 28 just moments away from our green flag pit cycle. Jacob Fife leads the way, and you can see it's a big string from here on out. Tom Wetmore, who's in 7th, is about a second away from the leader, which isn't that much distance overall, but given how quick these drivers are going in the pack, that's quite a lot of time to separate the driver who's been very dominant so far. Wetmore going to be lying back. It looks like only 6 drivers are really connected to this lead bunch. Then it's going to be Wetmore with Seth Well, Chad Winstead, Jay Aishman, Trevor Drago, Guillermo Alvarez, and Nick Tarbuck. The first group of drivers certainly have a big advantage. Then from there, you'll see Trevor Drago and Guillermo Alvarez, 11th and 12th. Further back, different scope, and you'll see all the way down to Ryan Farrell in a 5-car bunch, which is outside of the main draft. 16 drivers going back to Victor Avila. Felix have a chance to be in that leader draft. It looks like it's 2 seconds separating 16 drivers right now. Jacob Fife now going to see Boomer Logan fall to the wayside. He chooses not to stay up in front, and now he's not interfering with the racing battle up ahead. It's going to be laps winding down even still, with the number 36 once again in full command. Going to be led still, Jacob Fife with Ross Cato there in 2nd and Sam Nito in 3rd. Caitlin Hate's been up and down the ladder in terms of points. Of course, missing quite a few races, but still victory lane. She's found it multiple times over. But tonight in specific, she's gone from the back of the field all the way up into the front, choosing to be a bit more conservative early in the going, and now going to be up there, not necessarily too aggressive, but even still very close to the leader. 4th place right now, just a few tenths of a second away, and it looks like the number 11, who's been very good so far at short tracks, the longer tracks, my apology, is looking to get it done. Daytona does make tracks like Auto Club look a bit short, but Daytona has simply no comparison. Even if you say Talladega is larger, there's nothing quite like racing at this track. There's a different sense of history, a different sense of importance. Every driver in the stock car world wants to cross off a victory here at this world-renowned track, even world-renowned in the terms of international racing. The 24 Hours of Daytona, Indycar raced here in the 1950s. We've seen the American Motocross Association, ARCA, the Modifieds, NASCAR's Truck, Xfinity, and Cup divisions. Many series have come down to the big track here, and they never disappoint. Here with the Octane Series, that's the same deal. Cody Smith, who looks to have retired early, will not be able to defend his victory at Daytona, but Jacob Fife, still looking for his 3rd win of the season, has a chance to come home on top. It's going to be now Fife all the way up to the higher side here. It looks like he's starting to signal the end of his reign. 57 laps on one stint is unbelievable. No other driver has even gotten close to attempting that amount, and it looks like now he'll take Ross Cato up to the high side following the signal. The number 12 is going to be led around to the top side of the track, now dropping down low. It's a bit of separation, and just like that, Jacob making moves to get himself out in front. It looks like now Ross Cato going to keep up with them. Sam Nito, Caitlin Haight going to make the move up top, and more drivers choosing to do so. Now it might be a bit more intensity ramping up with 23 laps left on the board. And all of a sudden, drivers starting to put themselves back in the mindset that we should race a bit harder. And it looks like now it's going to be Jacob Fife, one of the many drivers taking it up to the top. Brad Patton and Caitlin Haight going to be right down low. Just like that, it looked to be logging laps all the way through. And looks like that will change. It's going to be Jacob Fife holding his own at the front of the field. Ross Cato there in 2nd. Sam Nito 3rd. And with 23 laps remaining, 22 up next, we're going to crank it up with the best cameras on the iRacing platform. Track cams for gourmets. Over 100 cars and tracks available on their marketplace as we crank it up uninterrupted with 22 laps to go, courtesy of TrackCams22.com. At the line, only 18 laps remain here in the Tube Tech 200, and Jacob Fife still finds himself out in front. It's going to be a new cast of characters right behind, though. You'll see Sam Nito is going to jump up in a second. Brad Patton and his teammate and Trevor Trago are now third and fourth, and Seth Well is going to be in fifth, as the majority of those who were up in front before have cycled out. 18 laps to go now, and the question remains, does Jacob Fife come down to pit road? 63 laps through, he has chosen not to at all this race, and it looks like if he's gone this long, we don't expect to see a pit stop from anyone else. The only real question is that number 36, who leads on a 63-lap tire stint, the longest of any driver, and he's been able to make it work quite well despite the difference in his game. It's been the race lead for Fife the majority of this event. I mean, you've seen it from the moment we kicked off this second stage. He's been the leader, and he's kept it there for quite some time. So Fife has been, for the most part, dominant in the Pro Powder and Paint Chevy Camaro, and he's looking to keep it that way. Single file all throughout. Bit of a breakaway now. And you can see the first 5 drivers have a bit of an edge going back to Guillermo Alvarez, who's there in 6th. It looks like Alvarez is going to be way further back, and he's going to be lifted up to the high side of the track there. Not going to be leading that groove any longer. He'll go up to the high side where his teammate Luis Caballero is, and they're going to group up, try to get a 4-car band going. Victor Avila Felix and Jorge Canales all there as well, and they'll slot right in at the back of the pack, looking to make some moves when it matters most. 65 laps in and only a total of 16 laps to go, and another fantastic event here on iRacing. I'll tell you this much, if you want to learn more about the iRacing platform, check out our official eNASCAR newsletter, courtesy of the folks at eNASCAR and iRacing respectively. It's the best place to learn about all eNASCAR content, be it the Pro Series, the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, where drivers compete for a $300,000 prize. They're live on Tuesday nights as well. As many drivers come down a pit road, it's going to be a mirror spin. Ross Cato, does he save it? It looks like he will, but he'll go through the grass all the same, and he's going to miss pit road. That might be the race for Ross Cato. How about that? I don't know if there's any recovery from there. The number 12 machine gets caught in a bind, and now is going to be in the back of the field. Let's take a look back and see what caused this one. Cato going to be there with Alan Dobbs and Nick Tarbuck. Dobbs going to be hard on the throttle there, and it looks like getting him hooked up the track, then down low. Cato locks it down, almost makes it a pit road either way. But at that rate, he has to give it up. And just like that, nearly a caution. Thankfully saves it, but it's going to be very bad news for his campaign, as drivers are already going to be back out from pit road. Jacob Fife is going to get lucky and cycle through with everyone else. How about it? It looks like his pit cycle might have been a timing and scoring glitch, because no way he went 63 laps. Estimates are showing now it was more like 35 and 40. Just like that, everyone's in at the same time yet again. Ross Cato back on the way. He'll see Chad Winstead go. Alan Dobbs is in as well. Taking a look further back, Mike Maddox, Alan Rawwell still driving, and your new race leader is Nick Tarbuck. Nick has the race lead right now. We'll see how much longer he can hold on to it. And it looks like for now, he's got a sizable pack still right with them. So no worries so far for the driver of that number 4. And it looks like he's going to stay out in front as a few drivers opt to go in once more. It looks like nobody from the main pack right now. As the undercut going to be performed by half the field, the rest of the drivers choosing to stay out, as John Steele, Boomer Logan, Alan Rawwell, Mike Maddox, and Nicholas Ward all come down at the same time. Now a baker's dozen to do it, and another pack comes in. Just like that, only a total of 12 drivers remain. 12 goes back to Ross Cato, 11 goes back to Ryan Farrell, and it looks like 10 goes back to Randy Fiash. Just like that, Jay Haishman's the final man in the main pack. Jay's going to be in 9th right now. It's a 9-car draft, and it looks like they're going to have to come down to pit road eventually. The move is not this time through, and it looks like they'll stay out even further. Make it an even dozen to do it. 68 laps in, going on to 69, and for Seth Well, able to nicely take that lead, and he finds himself now to the point with just a dozen remaining. Tom Wetmore there as well. How about we ride right on board with that number 51 machine for Tube Tech, Tom Wetmore in second. And after being a bit of a silent character in this stage so far, Wetmore's been able to come back, and now he looks much, much better than before. Back in competitive range of the lead, Seth Well, the only driver ahead, and we've seen these two many times over compete for the race win. Tonight looks to be, yet again, no exception. They'll stay out on the track once more, looking to get a few drivers one lap down. It's going to be lap 70 this time by, with Wetmore still just behind Seth. Going to be a square tap to the bumper yet again. They're going to have to push each other to keep that speed, as right now there is no big deficit in tire wear or fuel. It's all about keeping the pace in the draft before coming out of pit road. If you cannot time that entry and exit perfectly, that's really what's going to cost you. Everyone else, for the most part, on the same level of pace if you're in a pack, to say the least. Looking from the back, you'll see a second group right now forming up. It's going to be led by Alan Dobbs. And Dobbs right now going to be with Sam Nito, Jacob Fife, Brad Patton, and Trevor Trago. Further back, you'll see Mike Maddox and Alan Rawell and the like. So it looks like it's going to be 3 packs going right now. Mike Maddox leads a big one, though. He's got the biggest on the track. And it looks like he's going to have the leaders, too. Now, Seth Well going to see those lappers just ahead of him. 10 laps to go here on FTN, and the Tube Tech 200 will all come down to this. The final fuel run is ending here and now. The money stop still ahead for a dozen drivers, so we're not going to waste your time. With just moments to go in this race, we'll bring you your final Next Level Racing promotional break. For high-quality sim racing performance products, visit nextlevelracing.com to find out more information from our premier partner here in the Integrity Racing League. We'll be right back with a message from our friends at Next Level Racing. Now down to the single digits, only 9 laps remain in the Tube Tech 200, and strategy is still going to be put in play. Some drivers choosing to stretch it out even further. Are these all the group that have what it takes to go till the end? I'm not quite sure. 37 laps in for the stint on Seth Wells, number 9. Tom Wetmore's lasted 38 laps so far. It looks like for Ryan Farrell, he might have saved the most of it. It's only 36 for the number 40. And it looks like now Jacob Fife's pack is catching up. 24 seconds down, and they are clawing in. Just like that, it's going to be the second pack still on the hunt. Tom Wetmore still with Seth Well. And the question is, when do they come down to pit road, if at all? A pit stop looks to be about 24 seconds under green for some of these drivers. Alan Dobbs had a 24-second stop. That got him up to the front of the second pack. So it is still feasible. If these drivers have to, they might be able to make it back out with the back of the lead pack. But able to have to choose now or never, because time is running out and the point of no return is approaching. Wetmore knows that. He's going to stay right behind, trying to charge up a run. He's got Guillermo Alvarez, Luis Caballero, Jorge Canales, Victor Avila Felix, all right behind him. 4 teammates. They will shuffle out anyone who comes into their path. So I think if these 4 do get mobilized momentarily, it's going to be bad for the rest of the field. These drivers are in a team, and they look to be the biggest group right now up at the front of the field. So it's going to be tricky for guys like Wetmore and Seth Well. They might have to work with one another here if they want to keep that chance at the win. Mike Magg's going to go up high. He's 1 lap down as it stands, trying to hold off as Alan Rawell remains on the lead lap, but only just He's now about 50.1 seconds off of your leading driver. That's the official timing and scoring marker, as Seth Noel is right there. Noel gonna still find himself just in front of the field. Now Mike Maddox goes up high, brings Randy Fiash with him, and now all three drivers gonna take themselves back to the lead lap with 6 laps to go. Still fighting to stay up in front, as it is still Alan Rowell just ahead of the number 9. And looking from the high side, of course, of the track down low, Alan Rowell's rear view camera going to show you the big battle right now for the race win. 6 laps to go. It's going to be Seth Noel still shoving bumper to bumper with the lappers here, and that's what it's going to take to build that advantage. Trying to get away from the field. Make it 5 laps to go. This time by Seth Noel leads, and Tom Wetmore is still there in second. Guillermo Alvarez is going to be in third, and Luis Caballero still going to be in fourth here. It's going to come down to whether or not Wetmore can get that run. Right now, it looks like Seth is running away from the field, and he has help. He's not alone in the draft right now. He has some air in front of him that's pushing him up the track. A 0.6 of a second advantage compared to Tom Wetmore, and Wetmore's now going to have to be in the charge on his own. It looks like he'll be doing it himself, trying to claw back all that distance with nobody behind him. Wetmore trying to stick it back up there, and it looks like he will. Clawing back, make it 4 laps remaining. Wetmore is there. It's now a separation of 0.8 of a second back to Guillermo Alvarez, and Chad Winstead with damage stays up high. Not going to be much more that he can do on the night, as Seth and Wetmore now are going to continue to build up their advantage ahead of the field by nearly a second and still counting. The lappers are pulling them away, and they're playing the biggest part they have all race long, and they have not done anything but run single file, sort of acting as an escape device for these drivers. Both Seth Noel and Tom Wetmore now clearly ahead. Over a second on Guillermo Alvarez. They would have to mobilize and quick. It's a big deficit to make up without any draft ahead of you. They need to be perfect if they want even a chance at getting back up at a higher speed. 3 laps remaining, this time by Seth Noel. Now finds himself still a leader, but with only about a 1/4 of a second of an advantage. It looks like now the drivers behind are beginning to move. Still single file, trying things out to get back up front. It is Seth Noel still leading. Tom Wetmore there second. 1-2 with Alvarez still third. We'll see whether or not there's any changes in the top 3, because right now it looks like nothing can change. But Alvarez has a monster run. He'll take it up high. Does he go? No. He'll get blocked by Wetmore. Get blocked by Rowell. Alan Rowell gets in the mix and does some blocking too. And that's going to move both leaders up high. Just like that, Seth Noel going to find himself on the top side. He'll take Tom Wetmore there too. 2 laps to go. Remaining at Daytona, it's only 5 miles. Now they're double file again. Mike Maddox going to take it down low. You'll see Randy Fiash there as well. And the team of 4 still just behind Wetmore and Seth Noel. We'll see how desperate these drivers get for a win. It's really now or never for many of these guys. If they want a chance to come home victorious, you got to take it here or I don't know if there's anywhere else. The playoffs coming up soon. This is the most chaotic track on the schedule, and we're visiting it for the second and final time. Big shove to Ross Cato. Tom Wetmore gonna get all out of sorts, and just like that, with 1 lap to go, it's gonna be the final lap. This race will be official. Now it's gonna be the white flag led by Seth Noel. Not quite sure what happened to Wetmore there. He'll fade back big as the 4-car team goes down to the bottom. Just like that, Alvarez has the lead, looking for his first win of the season. Let's see if anyone else has anything for the drivers now up in front. Luis Caballero still going to be blocking. It's Ross Cato down low. Big wreck. Fiash. Then going to be Seth Noel. But Caitlin Haight has Tom Wetmore. And now the number 11 machine, looking to win at the big track yet again, finds herself up in front. Wetmore relentlessly shoving, will not give up, and he will clear down low. It's going to tag them both. It looks like Caitlin Haight's day is done, and now coming to the stripe alone at the line, Guillermo Alvarez is the only man who makes it. How about this podium? All first-time top 3s, save for Alvarez. His first win of the season. He just had to defend all the way to the stripe. What a way to win it for Guillermo Alvarez there. Everyone risks it all to try to make the move around, and the 83 is the man who gets it done. Instead, it was absolutely all the drivers had given at the very end, but it will not work out, and it'll be Guillermo Alvarez who comes home on top, half a second over his teammate in Luis Caballero, with Jay Aishman in third and Tom Wetmore then in fourth. Victor Avila Felix going to come home in fifth, with Seth Noel in sixth, Caitlin Hayton seventh, and Nick Tarbuck then in eighth. Alan Dobbs going to be ninth, with Jacob Fife in 10th, and then from there going to be Sam Nito 11th, with Trevor Trago 12th. Brad Patton going to come home 18th, the final man on the lead lap, as it's then Jorge Canales 14th, Ryan Farrell 15th, Ross Cato 16th, and Alan Rowell then going to be in 17th. Going to be Randy Fiash 18th and John Steele 19th, as Mike Mannix comes home in 20th. Then from there, Boomer Logan 21st, Chad Winstead 22nd, Nicholas Ward 23rd, with Cody Smith, your pole sitter, dropping to 24th, and Kyle Cooper 25th. And as he comes out of the start-finish line yet again, Guillermo Alvarez begins the celebration. And backing it up to the start-finish line, contact from his teammates there. And after such a great group working their way up, it's the 83 who comes home on top, keeping himself inside the bubble battle and parking it at the start-finish line. Just like that, Guillermo Alvarez choosing to keep it up there, going to despawn from the track, and the race has concluded. We'll round up your top three drivers and head to interviews momentarily. Give us just a moment as we head to a brief iRacing promotional break just before the back. We will be right back with your top three interviews. Stick around live on FTN as the Tube Tech 200 will see its podium interviews momentarily. Here's a brief message from iRacing Motorsport Simulations as we return in just a second.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And coming back after a fantastic finish here, for the first time this season, the number 83 of Guillermo Alvarez comes home a winner. An exciting race at Daytona and the 83 machine up on top. How was it like with your first win of the season in the bag?
I don't think this counts because I'm not a fan of SuperSpeedway Racing, but we had the idea to commit to saving fuel. We saved fuel, and in the end, it paid off.
And it paid off very well. There are a lot of the pack choosing to save on that final run. It looked like a big risk, so I'm not quite sure how much you guys had to save. It looked pretty tight on fuel for many drivers, most choosing to come down to pit road. So how was it for you saving that fuel at the end?
Yeah, I think it was at least, I don't know how many cars we had. We had Jorge, Luis, myself. At some point it was Trevor and Victor also. So it was 6 of us just trying to hold as low as we could to make it. So yeah, I think we made it by like a lap, half a lap, something like that. And it was just saving since the frag dropped, because otherwise we wouldn't have made it. I know they were trying to push a kind of a rabbit move to chase them, but we didn't really chase. We just had to wait. So it was a waiting game.
Waiting game paid off very well for all of your team there. It was a 4-car group, and that seemed to be the deciding factor. I mean, with teamwork, you really can make it happen in a moment's notice. Having all those drivers working with you there, you think that was a big deal?
Yeah, if it had been just a couple of us, there's no way we could have anticipated anything. So it was just the work of 4, 5, or 6 cars. I have no idea how many we were. So it was all of them behind me and trying to help to save. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened.
And strategy is what gets you here. Victory lane, Guillermo Alvarez for the very first time this season back in the first position. Watkins Glen, different style of racing, a road course up next. You think there's any way to keep this momentum going?
Yeah, at least a top 5 I know said we will have the speed, and I don't know if we'll have a surprise, but I think we'll have a top 5 pace. I know also Wab is very keen on racing at Watkins Glen, so we'll have a chance at least to save a top 5.
Looking to keep that momentum going, Guillermo Alvarez for the very first time this season coming home in victory lane. Any other thoughts to wrap off this interview?
No, just to thank you guys. I'd like to thank also the whole league and the whole pack of cars and the Mexican brigade who made it all happen. Thanks to the Mancuy Motorsports.
There we have it. Guillermo Alvarez for the very first time this season in the Tube Tech 200 comes home as a race winner. Checkered flag out for the number 83 Chevy Camaro. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Now, with Guillermo Alvarez on the way, it looks like he's going to be the only driver of his team that we'll be seeing. Luis Caballero not currently inside a voice chat here, and we were waiting for a few minutes, but no word from the number 91. Second place, first podium of the season, but it looks like that's all we'll know from the 91 tonight. Luis Caballero, with his best run of the season, puts himself second on the board tonight at Daytona. Either way, the final man to wrap off the top 3, that's going to be Jay Aishman, and the 06 with his best run of the season so far. First podium as well, and a top 3 finish here in the Tube Tech 200 puts you here in the podium for the first time this year. How was it out there at Daytona?
It was pretty fun. I was just enjoying the ride, saving fuel, and hoping for the best.
And the big thing about all drivers who got to the end there in the main pack, saving fuel. That was the big part of the strategy. It looks like every driver up there did a very good job at just that. So what was it like for you to manage the fuel all the way to the very end, being such a close call?
Well, it was kind of boring because I was half throttle for the last 35 laps, and I was trying to get like a 6-car pack to pit around lap 50, but nobody wanted to do anything, and so I just had to stick to saving fuel.
And it looks like most drivers up front chose to stick to that as well. A bit chaotic at the end there. It looks like some wrecks back and forth at the very final segment of the track. How was it for you to avoid that? Because it looks like avoiding the chaos really helped you to manage to get this podium.
Yeah, it was chaotic for sure. Kind of sucks that it happened like that, but my only goal was to beat Tom for the bracket challenge, and I finished third. He finished fourth, so it's all good on that front.
And a great way to move on here. The 06 puts the run in that's absolutely necessary. And Jay Aishman, you get it done for your first podium this season. Next up, it's going to be Watkins Glen. Is there any way to keep that momentum up?
Luck. I need to serve with the crash everybody else. I hate road course racing, but we'll try our best.
Well, either way, able to put that podium on the board is a big step here to get you back on the right foot. Jay Aishman, third place here at Daytona. Any other thoughts to wrap off this night?
No, just thanks for putting up for the broadcast, and appreciate everybody that does everything.
And there we have it, third place on the day for Jay Aishman and the 06 machine, rounding out the podium here at Daytona. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Jay on the way, your third place driver, going to come home to round out your podium interviews here in Daytona. It's Jay Aishman third, Luis Caballero in second, and Guillermo Alvarez in the first spot for the first time this year. Another first-time winner gets it done here in the second half, and chaos lets an underdog come home on top. What a finish it was at Daytona tonight. After 80 great laps of racing, the world center of racing never disappoints. And we thank all our viewers for stopping by tonight with a great race here, round 20. Tomorrow night, I won't be broadcasting the 4 World Cup Series, but River Page will be on the call at the Circuit of the Americas with another fantastic show in the Texas Ranger 102.6. Keep a lookout for this week's broadcast, as I will be at Watkins Glen, so it's going to be a bit harder for me to update this stuff, but I'll be sure to be as active as I can, sharing the experience there at the track while broadcasts are still going on the FTN YouTube channel. We thank you sincerely your support for tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Integrity Octane Series and the Tube Tech 200, and we hope to see you once again on FTN. Thank you all for your support, and we hope you have a great night.